The very first speech Matthew Galkin filmed of me for HBO, we were in a university building, an auditorium, and there were two smart aleck kids at the very front sitting in the first two seats right in front of me, and one had a leather jacket on. So whenever I made a philosophical point or talked about the suffering of animals, this smart aleck kid would point at the jacket, look pointedly at me, and smirk, and just go, "See this?" And so I ended up having to have a public row with them and call them to task. And I thought, oh, God, this is going to be in the film. But in the end, it wasn't. You know, it's very odd waking up in the morning and having somebody film you cleaning your teeth, or making dinner and having them film you burning your hand. But the one time I really wished that the film crew was with me, they weren't. They had filmed us going into the Jean-Paul Gaultier boutique in Paris. We had taken over the windows, and we would have been in and out of there in a flash, except Jean-Paul Gaultier's people locked us inside, which made for a wonderful tableau and a great big press hit. We covered the window with washable blood paint and all that sort of thing. But afterwards, we were taken away to the police station, and the HBO crew left. And for 24 hours, we were in the most horrible situation. I think it violated EU standards for humane treatment of people. The women's prison was right outside the men's urinal, and it was so disgusting. Men would actually come along, unzip their pants, and just urinate in the general direction of this hole in the ground. It was so vile. And then a drunk man fell in love with me and spent the entire time with his arm around my neck. And he'd been beaten up in a fight, and he didn't smell very good. The food was awful, the cell was cramped, there wasn't room enough for us all to lie down that night, and it was bitterly cold. And I thought, where's the HBO crew? My biggest challenge, perhaps, was not to break down and to cry, because Matthew Galkin is obviously a very kind person, and he has a way, as a good director, of drawing you out. So he would ask me the gruesome details of the worst things I have seen happen to animals. And it was very tough sometimes in talking to him not to just burst into tears. I think everyone should see this film, if only for the simple reason that there are scenes in there of dogs who spend their entire lives out on a chain with nobody to love them, a turkey, a wonderful turkey, who our investigator finds on the road and who we manage to take, cheeping and chirping, to a sanctuary where she's going to live out the rest of her life. And you do get to see inside a research lab, and it really puts paid to any idea you might have had that there's some worth in the torture that's imposed on monkeys and other animals. For those three reasons alone, the film is worth watching. But there are also funny parts in it, poignant parts in it, and criticism of PETA for our tactics. So I think all in all, it's a very well-rounded, interesting HBO film.